Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Rama Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Om Vishnuvad Paramhansa Parivrajacharya Ashtotra Sri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Sridhar Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Tham Ki Jai Navadip Tham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Gangamai Ki Jai Jamanamai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Maharaj, and welcome to everyone for Srimad Bhagavatam class with His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami. It is Wednesday, August 14th, 2024 in New York, and tonight we're starting with Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 2, and I have us starting tonight with verse number 21.
Yes.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Jai. So, text 21 is spoken by Nandishwara, follower of Lord Shiva, who was the first to start the cursing process once Shiva had been offended by Daksha. And tonight we're starting to hear his actual words and the fallout therefrom. Ya etan martyamudishya bhagavatya prati druhyat yagya pritag drishtis tattvato vimukho bhavet. Anyone who has accepted Daksha as the most important personality and neglected Lord Shiva because of envy is less intelligent, and because of visualizing in duality will be bereft of transcendental knowledge. Purport: the first curse by Nandishwar was that anyone supporting Daksha was foolishly identifying himself with the body, and therefore because Daksha had no transcendental knowledge. Supporting him would deprive one of transcendental knowledge. Daksha, Nandishvara said, identified himself with the body like other materialistic persons and was trying to derive all kinds of facilities in relationship with the body. He had excessive attachment for the body and in relation to the body with wife, children, home, and other such things, which are different from the soul. Therefore, Nandishwara's curse was that anyone who supported Daksha would be bereft of transcendental knowledge of the soul, and thus also be deprived of knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Om Jnanatimirantasya Jnananjana Shulakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Just briefly, Maharaj, I just wanted to confirm that will our format tonight be our usual format, or would you like to do anything different as have sometimes done in different situations?
Okay, we're all devotees here tonight.
Aye. So I was reading this first curse of Nandishwara, thinking about why he chose this line of cursing as opposed to so many other lines of cursing. Often in the present tense, people just curse each other sort of randomly. We wish each other ill, and our words express our feelings in the sort of random, angry, punitive way. But Nandishwara here is very specific, and you could say very thoughtful. It reminds me of Narada's cursing of Nalakuva and Manigriva. Basically, he's seeing that someone is acting on a platform that is not befitting his stature, not befitting his social status. And the chosen curse is that, well, just go further in that direction then. If you don't seem to be qualified to be where you're at, so why not just go down? And this is, Prabhupada mentions something similar to this in the Nehabhikramanashasti Pratyavayo Navidyate verse, where he says that the greatest fear of the living entity is going down to a lower status of life. And that's what's being wished upon the followers of Daksha here. You're acting materialistically, you're supporting a materialistic person. So better that you shouldn't be in this assembly, first of all, or even in a human body. Be bereft of transcendental knowledge, and do less harm in a lower status of life where you can be among people of your own stripe. The living entity wants freedom, wants enjoyment, and ignorance, which is being wished upon the followers of Daksha here. Ignorance means bondage and suffering. So it does make sense after one thinks about the nature of this curse, why he chose this particular line of cursing. Maharaj, I'd be happy to hear from you.
Om Jnanatimirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Padamai Yamati Shapadanti Vanshakol Patarubhyas Chakrapa Sindho Pyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We've got a room full of qualified devotees here, so at any time if you'd like to offer some thoughts, some comments, or raise some questions, you're welcome. You don't have to wait for an invitation. And those online, they're the same way, they know that. So here, ya etad martyam udishya bhagavati apratidruhi druhyati agya. So daksha is agya, ignorant. Prabhupada uses this tactful expression, less intelligent, agya, ignorant. How is he ignorant? That he's thinking in terms of the body, which is meant for death, martyam, and with that, because he's thinking Shiva is my son-in-law, he's not respecting me, so he's thinking in terms of martyabhuti, thinking of the body as the self. And who is he insulting? Bhagavati apratidruhi. Lord Shiva, who's practically on the same level as the personality of Godhead. This Bhagavan word is sometimes used for a person who's a great devotee or great, in this case, almost on the level of Lord Vishnu himself, and who's apratidruhi. He's not envious or hateful toward anyone. But druhyati, you're hateful toward him. At least if you're hateful towards someone else who's of a hateful nature, then we could maybe say, all right, tit for tat, or, what comes around, whatever, what's the word, cliche you want to use. But here, you're envious toward a person who's completely not envious. You're hateful toward a person who doesn't hate anyone. So you're ignorant and you're nasty. And pritak drishti. Pritak drishti, the vision of duality. Usually, we think of that vision in different ways. Thinking of the body as the self, that's a kind of duality. Or to see a difference between Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu is another kind of duality. To see in terms of, yes, this body which is different from spirit. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur glosses it as he sees in terms of different living entities. Pritak Drishti, Pritak Bhavam is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Usually we take it as seeing the difference between ourselves and others. But here he takes it as, who are those different living entities? Children and wife. Children and wife. So he's seeing in terms of who are those different living entities? My wife, my children, my this, my that. So again, he's has the mentality of a cow or an ass. Janeshva Vigyeshu Seva Goka. That's the Pritak Drishti that he's being accused of. And he'll be Vimukha. Prabhupada translates it as bereft, Tatvataha Vimukha, bereft of knowledge, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur translates it as opposed to knowledge, at least in Bhanu Maharaj's translation, which I have confidence in. He's opposed to the Lord, Tatvataha. The truth, if you're opposed to the truth, ultimately the ultimate truth is the personality of Godhead. You're opposed to the personality of Godhead. You're practically already there because you're opposed to Lord Shiva, who is so dear to the Lord. So as the Kendra Prabhu said, well, let's take you a little further down the line, that you'll bhavet, may you become ignorant completely. May you become fully bereft of truth or opposed to the truth. Hare Krishna. All right, any questions, any comments?
I have a question about vimukha.
Vimukha.
Like you have bahirmukha, so
Yeah.
vimukha actually means to just turn away. Right?
Yeah, vimukha chaitasa indriyartha. Maya Sukaya Baramudvato. And the Prahlad Maharaj says they've turned their faces. Mukh means face. So Vimukh,
Turn away from.
like we say in the military, about face, which means turn around. So Vimukha, you turn your face the other way. Vimukha. Vimukha Chaitasa. Their consciousness is turned away from Krishna. Vimukha. So it's generally taken that way. So Vimukha, let's get it from Monya Williams and see what he says about Vimukha. Just, you're not depending on me. Get a Paka scholar here, dictionary. Yeah, having the face averted, turned backwards, turning away from, averse or opposed to, hostile, adverse. These are some of the meanings. Yes.
I was kind of like reflecting on this situation and how actually Nandishwar is being merciful, because Daksha is committing great offense. And, he's in a position as a so-called, exalted living entity, one of the Prajapatis, and he's acting like this towards, one of the three, principal,
Yeah, primordial demigods.
Yeah, and so it's better that he's not in that situation because he's going to really, really suffer. Whereas if you're in a lower species of life, you're not responsible, so you don't get reaction.
And as Kendra said, it's like some resembles in that way the curse of to Nalakuvara and Manigriva. Better for you to be trees. You'll create less offense, and your consciousness will be gradually purified. With your present program, we're sons of demigods. We're entitled to enjoy as we like. It's all a great adventure. It's all, this is the journey of self-discovery. Discovering sense gratification wherever we can. So and intoxicated literally and literally intoxicated in mind and physically. So better that you become trees. So in that sense, yes, a curse becomes a blessing. Even if the intent may not be with Nard, the intent is may you be blessed. With Nandishwar, I don't know if it's a blessing or just out of anger that he's cursing.
But in the case of Nalakuvara and Manigriva, they were placed in Nanda Maharaj's yard.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something outstanding.
You can't beat that. Yes. Yes.
This pastime is actually quite complex because there's so much cursing and counter cursing, and very nuanced because it's like depending on which point of view you look at, they seem to be both right in their own situation.
Prabhupada said that in a previous verse. Purport, he characterized it as complicated because on the one side, now here's Lord Shiva, he doesn't curse anyone, he sets the example of a saintly person, but the Nandishwara doesn't follow that example. He instead becomes angry, which is not good at all. But on the other hand, he's defending Lord Shiva, who's like guru and worshipful Lord. So then well, that's justified. But then there's, as you said, it becomes cursing and counter cursing. Everybody seems to have some justification, rationalization, you can say, justification, some grounds, something is true about what all of them say. But then so much of it is false. And that's how it goes also. When there's this curse, you get on, we won't mention the name of a large social media organization, but you get on there and you say something that's true, but meanwhile you also say something that's offensive, something that's not true, and people latch onto whatever they either latch onto the untruth and they want to smash you for it, or they latch onto the untruth and they want to applaud you for it, or they latch onto a little bit of truth. So it all gets very, very complicated. And that's the word that Prabhupada used, or as you said, there's like nuances and ins and outs.
So how should we as sadhakas process this?
Well, how should we as sadhakas process? We should read it and think about all these points. Look at it this way, look at it that way. Certainly what presents itself especially is the mess created by, first of all, the abhiman, the false pride of daksha and martya buddhi, materialistic consciousness, but then the catastrophe created by this cursing and counter cursing, and then we see Lord Shiva's example, and so many things will come from this as often happens in Bhagavatam. It's not just, okay, students, what's the lesson? The lesson is, but there's so much.
From every character, there's a lesson.
Yeah, there's lessons in every paragraph, every verse, and there's lessons looking at it this way, and there's lessons from looking at it that way. Bhagavatam is such a rich text that there's so much to be, so much that we can profit from every, as Prabhupada says, every drop of Srimad Bhagavatam. There's a comment online which I can't read because it's too small for me.
Yes, in the chat, Saraswati Mata says, Pranams, Param Puja Maharaj and all the Vaishnavas. This type of cursing, where one is further degraded into material ignorance, reminds me of the cursing of Vijay and Jai by the Kumaras, and seems to be going against the wishes and mission of the Lord and the Vaishnavas, who want to reclaim the fallen souls and not to drive them further into ignorance.
Well, that's, of course, with the Kumaras, that's a special case where they, normally we wouldn't expect them to lose their balanced nature and curse personal attendance of Lord Vishnu. But they do it, and it's, of course, serves the Lord's purposes. So this is, again, Leela Shakti in action, the Lord's pastime potency by which these things occur. Yes.
And Prabhin Krishna Prabhu makes the point that Lord Shiva showed the ideal response in that advanced assembly. You leave.
Yes. He just sits peacefully and takes it. All right, this is going on. One can imagine, we leave ourselves a little room for imagination or speculation. We can imagine he's looking at them and thinking, yeah, these kids, these neophyte demigods. Looking at it that way. Or he could be deeply hurt, but so tolerant that, all right, let me just accept it. Or one could look at it, of course, many ways, but that's what he does. He just sits there, doesn't get angry, doesn't respond. But finally he walks out, which, yes. And that's a powerful response also. Sometimes leaving is a powerful response. Of course, Daksha tries that too, as we'll find, that he just walks out of the assembly because he's not sufficiently honored. That will come. So he's playing that card also. I'll just walk out. And then everybody's requesting him, please don't walk out. But Lord Shiva doesn't, also walks out, and nobody requests him, no, please stay. We don't hear that anyone's asking him, please stay. And we won't, we won't, will I speculate about why? Why he says, why they don't ask him to stay. Of course, Daksha has no fondness for him. Well, he won't say. And the demigods, we get the idea from the text, the demigods are intimidated by Daksha. Can I go against Daksha? If I ask Lord Shiva, no, please stay. But Daksha doesn't want him around. Daksha considers him an offender. So should we ask this offender to stay? We become intimidated. And we thereby become implicated also. And we read that in a previous verse. Nandishwara is cursing not only Daksha, who's offensive to Lord Shiva, but the Brahmins who are avachya, who don't say anything. They're silent. They don't speak up. So they become implicated because, what is it? Silence is tacit agreement. Silence is tacit agreement. So Lord Shiva's just been offended and you're not saying anything. Because even that was the fault found in Bhishma Dev. Bhishma, Drona, the other elders of the Kuru dynasty, that when Draupadi was insulted, they didn't say anything. Well, the laws of Dharma are pretty hard to understand. They just some equivocal, well, it's a hard case. Not committing yourself. That means basically going along with it. Avachya, not speaking up. It's our duty. If something's wrong, then we should say something. On every New York subway car for a while that was there. If you see something, say something. If you see that religious principles are being violated, how can you sit there and watch? And if you can't say something, if you think, no, this person on the other side is superior to me, I can't say, then go. Yes, Shivananda Prabhu.
Well, I think about, what if I was present in that situation? What would I do? And theoretically, I would stand up and say, hey, listen, stop this.
Yeah.
This is what you're engaging in is terrible. And Daksha, you're terrible too because you're not respecting Lord Shiva. But, who am I?
Yeah.
How could I be present in that assembly?
Yeah. I can think of times in my life, one time where I didn't speak and another time where I walked out. So sometimes we face these things. But who was it? Vibhishan. He's glorious because he speaks out. You're wrong. To his more powerful brother, you're wrong. Vibhishan. And at least, and perhaps not speaking out, but when the battle's about to begin, then everyone's invited by Yudhisthira Maharaj. It's the battle hasn't started yet. You can still switch sides. Who is it that switches sides? It's one. one brother.
Jujutsu?
One of the
Half brother.
three.
I think it was Jujutsu, wasn't it?
Jujutsu.
Jujutsu.
Jujutsu?
Yeah.
Ah, so Jujutsu, right in the face of everyone, in the face of everyone that he's supposed to be aligned with, he comes to the right side. Comes to the Pandava side.
Yeah.
And who was it also that spoke out during
I think
against Draupadi's,
his name was from V.
also on the Kaurava side?
Oh, yeah, he's, actually, his name is in the first chapter of the Bhagavad
Yeah.
Yeah, V.
Yeah, it's with V.
It starts with V. It's 3-letter word. It starts with V. I'm forgetting. it.
Yeah,
It's in
yeah.
the first, when it listing.
Vikarna?
Vikarna,
Yeah, Vikarna.
that's right.
Vikarna, yes. The Soma Dattista Vikarna, he speaks out, this isn't right. It doesn't go along with it. So of course, he stays on that side, but he's given credit that you at least you spoke out.
So when
So,
Bhima had to kill him, he regretted that.
yeah, I'm sorry to have to kill you because at least you spoke out. So that credit was given, yes.
I was thinking of the incident in New York when Prabhupada was on the planet.
Yeah,
You know, when he said those who left were right, those who stayed were right over that incident.
yeah,
So both were right, those who left and those who stayed, depending on their viewpoint.
Prabhupada said about those who left, they could not tolerate, they are real devotees, they could not tolerate.
And those who stayed, what did he say about that?
There he said, what can I say, because I stayed.
Follow the principle of authority.
Yeah, he said there was some indication that there was somebody complained that she's keeping something in the kitchen in the refrigerator and it has meat in it, and it brought to my attention. And sort of like didn't accept the evidence that was facing me, and I got criticized for it. But Prabhupada basically dismissed it as less important. He said basically that I was minding my own business, and so he stood up for me that way. But he didn't say yes. He is, I didn't get the credit for being on the right side. At least I got the credit for minding my own business at best. But that's not very much of a credit. But those who spoke out, Tosan Krishna Prabhu, others who could not tolerate, probably said they could not tolerate, they are real devotees. Yeah.
A couple more things in the chat, Maharaj, if we can go from there.
Go ahead.
Venkatesh Prabhu brings up a point. If Daksha knew Lord Shiva was a pure devotee Vaishnava, he would have paid obeisances to Shiva. Then he follows that up by saying that Prabhupada saved us with giving the standard of offering obeisances to everyone when we enter a temple or any assembly of Vaishnavas.
I'm looking for that and I don't see it. Who's speaking that?
Venkatesh Prabhu.
Okay, there it is. If Daksha knew the Lord Shiva to be a pure devotee Vaishnava, yes, he would have paid obeisances. So Prabhupada saved us with giving the standard offering obeisances to everyone. Yeah, when that's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prabhupada's teaching, Manadena, giving respect to everyone. All the Vaishnavas. Then you're on the safe side. If we're discriminating, well, he's a Vaishnava, he's not really much of a Vaishnava. We have to discriminate sometimes. That's given in Nectar of Instruction. But how do we discriminate? Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta. Even the person who's just chanting Hare Krishna once is a Vaishnava, so we'll give him respect. We may give him less respect than the expert Vaishnava who's non-envious of everyone who's on the highest platform. We may not surrender to him and hear from him with great eagerness, but we'll offer him respect anyway, at least. At least within our minds, we'll love him. He's chanted Hare Krishna. We respect him. Just once he's chanted the holy name of Krishna, millions and millions of living beings. This one is chanted Hare Krishna. My goodness. Manasadriyate. We offer him respect, at least within our minds. Not that we start with, well, I respect the expert, pure devotees who are fully clean in heart, and that's it. That's the niyam, basically, me and Krishna, and maybe, okay, my Guru Maharaj, or some extraordinary Vaishnav, we offer him respect. Otherwise, no respect to anyone. Zero tolerance. We don't tolerate anyone. As soon as there's some discrepancy, zero tolerance. We have nothing to do with you. You're this, you're that, you're this, you're that, you did this, you did that. We'll find something. Or there may be something, but then, but as far as we're concerned, we expect to be more than tolerated. We expect to be on that. And the example is Daksha. He expects everyone to respect him. And if there's some discrepancy, and even in Lord Shiva, zero tolerance. Or you didn't stand up. Then what is that? We can't tolerate. Yes.
Where does this lack of tolerance come from?
It comes from a slogan or something that comes in the material world. But apart from that, comes from ahankar, from false ego, and it comes from the contaminated consciousness. Well, it also comes from sometimes the demonic mentality. Konyosti sadrisho maya. Who else is there that's like me? Aso maya hata shatrur hanishe cha paranapi isharo ham aham bhogi siddho ham palavansi. I'm perfect, I'm powerful, I'm happy, I've killed my enemies, I'll kill more. I'm perfect, I'm Ishra, I'm the in charge, I've got authority, I'm the enjoyer, I'm perfect. So all of that will lead to intolerance. How can we tolerate any of these underlings who are so blah, blah, blah? And I can show my stuff, Shringi. Just see my power. Who does this dog think he is? He should be outside the house barking at the intruders, not inside the house offending my father, great yogi. So it comes from the Kamesha Krotesha Yesha Rajaguna Samudava Mahashano Mahapapa Vidyena Vihavarina. The mode of passion comes anger. It becomes this kind of Daksha Yagya, becomes this kind of cursing and counter cursing, and then all ability to understand goes out the window. Buddhi nashat pranashati, then we're finished. So, what is that? Teja kshama driti shocham adroho nati manita bhavanti sampadam daivim abhijatosi bharata. The divine quality is although one may be powerful, teja, akshama, one is forgiving. And the droho, natimata, he's not, doesn't see the faults in others. Amanitvam adambitvam himsa kshanti rajana. Amanitva, he's not proud, adambitva, he's not arrogant. Himsa, he doesn't get violent. Kshanti. Kshanti means he tolerates. These are the items of knowledge in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Kshanti is tolerance. So it's a divine quality, it's a quality, one of the qualities developed in knowledge. And the opposite, zero tolerance, no tolerance, can't tolerate. Now that doesn't mean that rubbish should be, or that viciousness should be tolerated. Yes, I'm a sadhu, go ahead, rape my wife, oppress the innocent, abuse children, and we're shanti, we're tolerant, we're just full of tolerance, so you do any rubbish and we're here to, no. Just like, you can't tolerate. Vikarna spoke out, no, this is wrong. And Bhishma, Drona were found at fault. No, they tolerated. They didn't say anything. Yes.
So all these qualities, obviously, we can see are in the mode of passion or ignorance, but we see, when we see pure devotees expressing, Prabhupada gives the example of Hanuman and Arjuna, but then that lack of tolerance or anger is not in material modes, right? It's
that's pure. What is that?
It's also not about themselves, it's in order to protect someone else, or
Well, and especially to serve the interests of the Lord. What is that song? Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Narottam Das Thakur, Kota Kama Krodha Kamarpane, like that. All of these qualities, lust, anger, I'll engage in Krishna's service. And so Hanuman becomes angry and sets fire to Lanka. So these material qualities, originally they sometimes appear in Krishna. He's intolerant sometimes. He can't tell. He appears as Nrsingadev. He's not going to tolerate Prahlad Maharaj being terrorized and tortured by his demonic father. He becomes, we deserve to become angry when these things are going on. How can you, an innocent child, and you're torturing him? Oh, that's all right, we tolerate. Hiranyakashipu must, after all, he's the father, and must have some good qualities, and besides, he's the king, and you don't want to say anything about the king. The king's the representative of God. So, he's just, it's understandable, after all, his son is siding with the person who killed his brother, blah, 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 blah. No, it's foolishness. Person who's clear-minded will be angry. What is this nonsense? How can this demon do this? And Nrsingadev becomes unlimitedly angry. Tears the demon apart, disembowels him with his nails. So it's not that tolerance is the thing for every, the one cure for every situation. There are times when, Prabhupada said there are real devotees they could not tolerate. But if we just make that, like the Buddhists, ahimsa is above everything. So zero tolerance, that's our ultimate religious principle. No, in Bhagavad Gita we don't find that zero tolerance is our ultimate standard of Dharma. No, the usual standard is tolerance, patience, but there are times when yes, no, tolerance should not be, this should not be tolerated at all. And there are times where we should say, well, we have to, there are other considerations. And
The time to vote with your feet.
yeah, definitely a time to, that kind of tolerance, we won't stay and hear these things going on. We, as you said, vote with our feet, we leave. Otherwise we become complicit. That's what we find with Daksha, that he's not with the Brahmins, that they're Nandishwara says you're complicit. Avachi, you didn't say anything. That means you're on board with it. When something's wrong, you must speak out. But it requires discretion. Who speaks out about what and when? At what point do we speak out? At what point do we just say, it's not my place to speak out, but I'm leaving? Or I wouldn't know what to say, so I'm just leaving? So, what is that? Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam. It's not so easy to understand the complexities of Dharma. It's not just, you sort of read read a list and say, okay, but. Otherwise, why are sages or great kings like Yudhisthira Maharaj praised for their discretion? It's because they're able to understand the meaning of these things and the application of these things. A less experienced person, he just looks, oh, item 5, but he doesn't really understand it, and he doesn't understand what else is going on. So what is that? Buddhi Rajasi. Could you look in the next room? Someplace there's a Bhagavad Gita little book with verses. It's sitting on a table or a dresser someplace. The person in ignorance, adharmam dharmam itiya manyate tamasavita. He thinks that a dharma is dharma, and he thinks that dharma is adharma. He always gets viparitamava. He gets it backwards all the time. That's intelligence in the mode of ignorance. Person in the mode of goodness understands things as they are.
Is that Pravittin Chan or Ritin?
No, this is the 18th chapter. Mark, you're referring to the 18th chapter?
No, it's
16th?
It's 17th.
17th. Oh,
And the person in the mode of passion, he's confused. So there we go. Thank you. Sometimes gets it, sometimes doesn't get it, sometimes half gets it. Buddhi sa partarajasi. Let's see if we can find it. Oh, you're right, it's not.
I think it's the 18th.
I think it is 18,
18th chapter,
yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah, it is 18, it's not 17. You are right.
It's,
There's Jnanam Sattvika, and there's Buddhi Sattvika also. Yeah. Oh, there it is. Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha karya karye bhaya bhaye bantam moksham traya veti buddhisa partha sattviki. In goodness, he knows what's to be done, what's not to be done, what's proper action, what's improper action. what's liberating, what's binding. But yaya dharmam dharmam cha karyam cha karyam eva cha ayatavat prajanati. He doesn't quite get it. Ayata. Yatavat means, properly, proportionately, nuanced. And ayatavat, no, he doesn't quite get it. That's how we'd say it in English. He doesn't quite get it. Or he's, sometimes he gets it, sometimes he doesn't get it. He's sort of, that's his position. Buddhi sapartha rajasi, because he's in the mode of passion. What is dharma and what is adharma? He's somewhat confused. He doesn't quite understand it. And when he's in the mode of ignorance, dharmam dharmamitiya manyate tamasavrata. He gets it totally backwards. Sarvartan viparitam. He gets it backwards. He favors a demonic person. He persecutes a dharmic person. He does things that are sinful and thinks that they're righteous. Like in the mode of ignorance, we're generous, so we give charity to an abortion clinic, or we give charity to a person for sinful purposes, thinking that we think that this is sort of a noble activity of giving charity. What are you giving charity to? To the murder of children. Oh, very good. That's the mode of ignorance. You can't distinguish. And a perfect person in goodness properly distinguishes. And in passion, sometimes yes, sometimes no. If he's lucky, he gets it. If it's otherwise, he may not. Ayatama. Okay. There's still more in the chat box, and where time is ticking.
Yeah. So, Hare Krishna. Maybe we can save the chat, because there's three kind of chunky items there for our next time, and have kirtan now.
Okay. We'll follow orders.
Hare Krishna.
We do have kirtan leaders here. We have a quorum. Would you like to lead kirtan? Very good to start it. Yes.
From Elijah?
It hasn't been in a lecture in a long time.
Where are they?
Upstate New York. And it's Hare Krishna all the way, and it's one tune all the way. That's our principle. And you can go for, usually we go for 5 minutes, but you're allowed to go for more because there's a whole crew here, and the online crew knows that they can stay or go. When we're just the onliners, we ended in 5 minutes, but we have more time here.
Hare
Prabhupada Paramahansa Paripurajapacharya Ashtottara Sri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Sridhar Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Gangamai Ki Jai Jamanamai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you to the Kirtaniyas there, and thank you for everyone joining us online. Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami and friends Ki Jai.
Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. Tomorrow we're Caitanya-caritamrta and maybe Ekadasi for those who are here or there, depending. And thank you. Hare Krishna.